How can you retire and have a lifestyle and the experiences you're looking for in that next phase of your life? If it's after you stopped working, sold off a business, or maybe got an inheritance or something happened to give you enough money to take that next step in life. It's the principal reason why people invest in many cases, if not the majority. That's one of the reasons I started to invest as a young man and continuing to invest and become a better investor is to really be in a power position once I retire, to retire comfortably, do the things that I want to do, help the people that I love. In this video, I'm going to be covering the overall plan to retire. In this case, to retire early. And early, you get to define. I have a friend that retired at 42, and he's been really happy. And he retired a while back. He's a little older than I am. He retired a while back. And I have friends that have retired recently. So when the time is right, I will do the same. And I wanted to share with you some of the thoughts I have as I've taken the journey of saving up, investing, and setting up my retirement on the horizon. Allow me to introduce one of my sponsors, Moomoo. They're offering a special offer to new account holders of Moomoo that's pretty good. They'll pay account holders 8.1% for 3 months as an introductory rate and then pay 5.1% after that. They'll also provide 15 free stocks if you deposit $1,000 or more. Those 15 stocks could be quite valuable. Their typical value per share is between $2 and $2,000. I signed up and I'm looking forward to receiving my free stocks. If it's something you want to take advantage of, please look at the description of this video. There's a link there and you can get signed up. Thanks. The first topic of retiring is earning money to have a very good balance going into retirement. No matter what age, whether you're just starting your career or you're in the middle of your career or you're towards the end, finding ways to make more money is one of the keys that I would recommend. Early on, I had that as an ambition. I knew that I wanted to make more money so I could save up more money. And I did so. I always took on more responsibility at work. I educated myself a little further. I got a master's and continued to just take on challenging roles that ended up being more financially rewarding. So overall, that's one of the keys is making money so you can save money and then set up a really good balance going into retirement. After you've earned the money, which is the hardest part, is it's key as you go is always save 10% or more of what you earn. If you do that, a couple of things are going to happen. First, you're saving up, which is a good discipline. And second, you're living within your means. You're buying things that you could afford with 90% or less of your take home. That's a very good discipline for life. Oftentimes, people really get caught up in debt, and debt is terrible. Debt can really take away one's flexibility and freedom. So I encourage you to really live within your means. And if you can save 10% or more of your take home, you'll be in great shape. That's advice that I received when I was in college. And I received it from a pretty wise person who was maybe 15 years older than I was. And he's done really well. I really appreciate that piece of advice. And I wanted to pass it along to you as well. So I'm sure that whatever occupation or business you run, there was a learning curve involved. And it may be a pretty long learning curve. For example, if you're a doctor, it took many years of education. Then you had residency. Then you went out and practiced. And maybe you've been a doctor for a while and you're doing really well. It just took a long time to be a successful doctor. Or if you're running a business, maybe the first couple of years of the business were really tough, and then followed by a couple of mediocre years. And hopefully you're doing really well now. There's always a learning curve. Investing is the same discipline or the same body of work. You just don't roll out of bed, and become a good investor. You got to learn. And YouTube and the internet make learning just so much faster and better. 30 years ago, I had to really read books and get magazines and newspapers. I read the Wall Street Journal, and it really set me up to really concentrate and focus on investing. And I learned as much as I could. I would say that learning today is far faster because no matter what topic, you can search it on YouTube or on Google, and you'll have plenty of information to learn. So learning is a very important phase of building that great retirement. Now, learning by doing is very important. You can't just, keep studying and never get into the game. You have to begin to invest and begin in a comfortable zone, but continue to just grow, continue to take on a new type of investment. You don't have to jump in head first. Maybe if you've never bought an individual bond, study it up and then buy an individual bond. What if you've never bought a ETF or an individual stock that was a growth stock? So really challenge yourself to continue to grow and become a better, more well-rounded investor. For example, we're in a market where stocks are a little expensive, and I'm most comfortable when I can find a good value stock that I believe in their business and I see that stock go up over time. That's pretty much the most typical stock that most investors want to invest in. But what if I can invest in another alternative asset? Let's say a cryptocurrency. Well, I've been learning quite a bit about crypto, and I started learning about crypto about 8 years ago. It was really early in the game, and I really studied it up, understood, which coins are what and how they tend to behave. And I've been a successful cryptocurrency investor. The returns have been great. And that's an example of really growing and really growing into a space that I didn't know before. I encourage you to make a big investment in yourself by learning online, reading books, and then putting that into practice and setting up a pretty good learning plan for yourself and try just to become better and a bigger investor, investing into different asset classes that really put you in a place where you diversify really well. You really empower yourself with knowledge in ways that you can make money, because the better you grow your investments, the more you're going to have. And then setting up your retirement years, if you're really knowledgeable on a variety of investment types, when you do retire, you're going to be able to get better performance out of your portfolio and probably live more comfortably, probably do extra travel, probably support the people you love a little bit more. So learning should be one of the biggest investments you make as you take the journey to retirement. The more learning, the more hands-on trial and error that you complete, the better off you're going to be. You're going to be empowered with great skills, great intuition about investing, especially when you do retire and you stop earning income and you start depending on those investments. I recommend that you create a retirement model, and it's available through just about every typical broker provides a retirement model. Speak with your advisor. They probably have one. And some of them are rather simple. You could also hire a advisor that could help you prepare a retirement plan. They oftentimes call it a plan. I'm more mathematically minded and I call it a model. It basically says, hey, this is my age, and I'm thinking I probably want to retire around this forward age. And I have 10 years, 20 years, however many years before that date. Show me a forecast, show me a projection of how I can get to that point and live comfortably. That's really important. So you understand the numbers, the math, how much you're saving, and really set that up. I've met with professionals, and I'm a pretty advanced investor. I'm very advanced with modeling, computer, software, and all that good stuff. But I really appreciate getting another pair of eyes and advice from some of these advisors. And these advisors may be provided to you for free. I know my brokerage provides free advisement services, and they tend to be pretty good. They don't get into the nooks and cranny of my plan, but they do have some pretty sensible ideas and suggestions that I listen to. I create a model and I review it once a year with that advisor. I've also paid professionals in the past, and that was productive, but it was expensive and I didn't do it for very long. So creating a retirement plan and a model is key, so you can see the numbers and see how you're going to get to that final state. As you think about retirement, think about the retirement you want to have, the experiences you want to have, and really define that lifestyle that you want to have. We really get, you know, uh, overwhelmed with the images of people retiring and they're sitting on a beach in a luxury resort, 365 days a year. Now, I would say that it's fun to travel to resorts like that, maybe for a week or two, but I would really get bored. I'm more of a, hey, I like hiking in the wilderness. I like experiences that range from, beautiful, pristine, forest to riding the subway in New York. I'd like to do a bunch of that stuff when I retire. And I want to define the experiences that I'm going to have in retirement and the lifestyle that I want. Some of the best meals that I have are at pretty affordable establishments, but it's really the company that I have with me that make the big difference. if I get my two sons and my wife out to dinner and we eat tacos for a pretty good price, I'm as happy as I can be. It doesn't take, a really expensive restaurant to make that experience really, really fun. So really, I encourage you to define, the retirement that you want to have. Really be clear about what's important to you and how you want to take care of the people that are important to you, and maybe disregard a lot of the images that we get about retirement. I'm not a golfer, as an example. Some people are. I think they have a lot of fun with it. Great. But I'm not going to pick up golf when I retire. I'd rather go for, again, a nice hike or a mountain bike ride in the wilderness, or go volunteer, somewhere helping, the community. Those are the things that I aspire when I retire. So earlier on, I talked about investing in learning to become a better investor, become better at making money from your investments, and just really empower yourself to find ways to really generate that income that you're going to want in retirement. The next thing that I really think you ought to invest in, which is outside of buying stocks, bonds, and all kinds of investments, is your health. Investing in your health, it may be the best return on investment that you can get. Let me give you an example. If you lived another 5 years and you worked for another 5 years, you ran your business for another 5 years, or you were just a better investment for 5 more years, those 5 years are probably worth a pretty penny. I know, looking at my life, 5 years is a lot of earnings. It's a lot of money. And I can get there if I exercise, eat right, sleep right, live right. And oftentimes, people abandon health to really pursue economic goals. And I'm not discouraging anybody from, trying to uh, get to economic goals, but I would say that if your health is always there, you're gonna probably live longer, live better, work better, and be able to do it longer. And that in itself has great ROI. And let's face it, what's the sense in saving up, investing right, retiring, and then, dying shortly after? Well, that would stink. I'd rather retire and live another 30, 40 years. That's my plan. But I'm not going to get those 30, 40 years unless I exercise, eat right, sleep right, live right. So investing in your health, you're going to get a great return on investment. And that's one thing that I would say should be a part of the retirement plan. So I hope that you found my video on retirement interesting, and I appreciate you watching. I'd love to hear from you and see what other topics you'd like me to cover that relate to retirement. It's something that I have on my horizon, and something that I've been working on for 30 years. So as I go to the next phase of my life, I'm really excited, and I feel like I'm prepared. And I wanted to share just some of the things that I picked up along the way in my journey. And again, I hope you found it interesting.